It's 5 o'clock in Pirate Country, and it's time to get pumped up with the P-Man. Hit the door and hit the road. 94.3 The Game is going to get you home, and the P-Man's not holding back.
Yes! Yes! Pirates win! Pirates win!
Bring on the Patrick Johnson Show on 94.3 The Game.
Holy mackerel! Oh, my goodness!
The flagship station of the ECU Pirates.
All right. Show so nice, we're doing it twice. It is the Patrick Johnson Show here on 94.3 The Game, 94.3thegame.com, and the IBX Media app. And what are we starting with, Bill? What are we starting with?
What do you mean? What are we starting with?
Little breaking news.
Oh, that.
Everyone, little breaking news for you.
So, due to the threat of inclement weather in the Greenville area, ECU and Rice will close out their American Athletic Conference Series Friday with a doubleheader inside Lewis Field at Clark LeClaire Stadium. The first game of the Twin Bill will start at 2:30 p.m. The second game will begin 1 hour after the conclusion of the first contest. The Pirates senior class will be recognized between games. Friday's tickets are still valid for both games of the doubleheader. Tickets for Saturday may be exchanged at the box office for Tickets Friday. And for that doubleheader, locations from the original Saturday's game are not guaranteed for Friday. Fans are reminded to monitor the Pirates' official social media accounts as well as the official athletics website for the latest scheduling update. So the game tonight will be played at the top of the hour, then a doubleheader tomorrow at 2:30. I'm not surprised, but I think the reason this wasn't done hours ago is because I think they were trying to figure out a way where they wouldn't have to play a doubleheader on Friday. I think that's the last thing both teams wanted to do was play a doubleheader.
Oh, 100%. You don't want to play a doubleheader. You don't want to have to, use extra. There's some times where you might be able to use a guy Friday and Saturday, and now you can't use him in the second game because you already used him in the first game.
Game 3, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can't do it. Can't do it now. So I think that is, I think you know what you did, Philip Pilkington? You hit the proverbial nail on the head. And that's why I think this was a mid-afternoon announcement, in case you missed it, and not anything that was done earlier in the day. Because usually they get an update late morning. They have a pretty good idea on what they're going to do because they do it out of an abundance of caution. I didn't think they would wait till tonight. I just, you got to give people the opportunity to make plans. This is going to hurt the crowd, even though I know they're going to hope that there's a big crowd there. But this, that's why I think they're going to wait an hour between games, try to get it as close to that 6 o'clock start, the second game that was originally scheduled for tomorrow, and that's why they'll honor the seniors before and all that. We do a show in between. I just thought of this, Pilk. Do we need to do a program in between, maybe? Maybe.
You said it is going to be a full hour, not a 40, whatever.
Not a
minute.
45-minute delay. It's going to be. I mean, we'd only be on like 30 minutes, maybe, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll discuss. Parker Byrd coming up on the show today, so stand by for that. Great interview with him. Did it a little earlier, but it's all very pertinent as to now. Yes, there will be 2 games being played tomorrow for this matchup with ECU. What is going on, Philip the Ref Pilkington, in Chapel Hill? Some news rolling out of there today. Do you want to hear about it?
Sure. Are they leaving the ACC?
Little breaking news for you.
Well, not so fast, my friend.
Everyone, little breaking news for you.
North Carolina Director of Athletics Cunningham received high-level support Thursday, just days after the school's trustees publicly questioned his management of the department. ECU Interim Chancellor Lee Roberts, whose top legislative leaders have endorsed for the permanent job, defended the Tar Heels' longtime athletic director, shooting down any suggestion of poor leadership. Trustees said they wanted an in-depth discussion with Cunningham about the finances of the athletic department and previously said such a meeting would happen in closed session today. Cunningham, in fact, cut short his trip to the ACC spring meetings in Florida to return for the closed session. You know, the EC or the UNC athletic department, $17 million in the hole, operating in the red. All of these things operate in the red, folks. It's like governmental spending. I forget the exact term, but still, it's like that. Deficit spending is what it's like. I don't think that's the term either I was looking for, but still, baseline spending maybe. I don't know. But it's basically what the government does. It's not like they're starting over every year. They got to spend it all. The chairman of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill's Board of Trustees said it would not discuss the school's athletic budget in closed session today, despite saying they would do so when they had a meeting on Monday.
Everyone, a little breaking news for you.
Still there with it, yes. An about-face came after a complaint was filed in an Orange County courtroom on Wednesday, alleging that the board was in violation of the state's Open Meetings and Public Records Act. The complaint was filed by Dave McKenzie, who focuses on intellectual property litigation. McKenzie's got his child at UNC also, full disclosure. A judge granted a temporary restraining order to stop the board from going into closed session to discuss UNC athletics financials, budgeting, deficit, or ongoing or future conference realignment and related strategic planning. That's what this was about. The board went into closed session Thursday, but not before they said they would not discuss athletics. Near the beginning of the Thursday full board meeting, at the open session part, the chairman read a statement seeking to correct and clarify the board's intent. We do not schedule budget presentations and discussions for closed sessions, according to John Pryor. So between that and then having Roberts come out and say they have broad respect for Bubba Cunningham, I can't imagine that UNC, there's a faction at UNC that wants to go anywhere anytime soon. The board of trustees at UNC is very interesting now because you have sort of some new school thinkers who I think feel like they need to go to one of these other conferences. But you have the old hardline people still there, the still traditional sweater-wearing, wine and cheese types, you know, that are still in the Dean Smith mode and, you know, respect the fact that they're in the ACC and that they're the flagship of the ACC. And that pains me to say, but I mean, let's face it. And that it's obviously an important founding member of the ACC. I mean, if you lose Florida State, they don't have the history that the league, I mean, but that was a real marriage of convenience, and both sides prospered from that marriage of convenience for a long, long time. You know, Clemson leaving, but Clemson is, you know, having been there a couple times this past fall, it's a different environment than anywhere else in the ACC, even Florida State. Just you know, and Notre Dame football is really not in the ACC, so you can't compare it to that, but that's not even the same environment like you have down at Clemson. That's an SEC environment at Clemson. And the whole thing surrounding it. I'm just not talking in the stadium. I mean, Pilk, I'm getting in there at Clemson, and we're talking minutes, not just minutes before the game. We're talking at least a half hour before the game, even against Wake Stinkin' Forest on homecoming. From the first row of the lower deck to the top row of the upper deck, 80,000, there are people in their seats already for the whole thing.
It's not the feel you get at ACC football games. And here's the other thing. It would be great to have the original 8 members of the ACC all together, but
we're not
there. I mean, these jokers haven't even won an ACC tournament. They've been there since the first year. Just as long as you give me Duke, Carolina, State, Wake, Virginia, Georgia Tech, even though they weren't an original member because they replaced South Carolina leaving, but at least, you know, at least in my lifetime, Georgia Tech, I always remember being there. As long as you keep those, who cares? But we need to keep those. Keep the ACC intact. You already lost Maryland. That was bad.
We're not there, though. And I'm not saying you got to go back to that. But, I mean, you know, UNC, it's just interesting that this is kind of broken today. And, again, this is just my first blush, kind of, you know, analytical, what little bit I know about it. But if you've got the interim chancellor who has the backing of all the Republican lawmakers in the state and just lawmakers in the state to be the guy to be the permanent chancellor. That's pretty strong. So, I mean, Roberts, who's, some things unrelated to sports has been really strong lately, in my opinion. Then I think you've got to look at he's speaking with a position of power, not as an interim guy. I mean, he says Bubba Cunningham's our guy. That means Bubba Cunningham's their guy. And the fact that a legal kibosh was put on this closed session meeting to go and grill Bubba and talk about moving to a different conference. You can't have those things under the cloak of darkness. There has to be sunshine on those things at the People's University or at any public situation. So there you have it. Last thing here on this hit. I know what a hater of women's sports you are, Pilkington. Basketball superstar Caitlin Clark drawing millions of viewers again. Her WNBA debut Tuesday night averaged 2.1 million viewers. The game between Clark's Indiana Fever and the Connecticut Sun was the most watched WNBA game since Memorial Day of 2001. It also broke ESPN's record for the WNBA. I know you don't like that, Pilk, because you don't like women's sports and you don't like Caitlin Clark.
Hey, I never say I like Caitlin Clark. I like Caitlin Clark more than her peers do.
Yes.
You heard some of her peers speaking out, hating on her. She hasn't even done anything. She played one game and already hating on her. I don't hate women's sports. I think it will always be a tax write-off for the NBA. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine, and I agree with you. But I'm just going to tell you this: she will be the best thing to happen to that league.
100%.
She already is the best thing to happen to that league, and they can complain all they want. But when their salaries inevitably do go up, you don't have Taurasi to thank or Lobo to thank or Byrd to thank, Sue, not Larry, or Brianna Stewart to thank or Gino or you don't have any of none of them. Lisa Leslie, Candace, you don't have any of them to thank when your salaries inevitably go up. You have Caitlin Clark to thank. What will they say then when they can grab a bigger bag?
They'll still throw the race card out there.
I'm sure. And I'm not saying you need to be paid. They need to be paid what the NBA's be. I mean, the NBA money is stupid and it's out of control. And you got guys sitting out playoff games. They're still getting paid. Care.
Did you hear what Caitlin Clark said when asked if they should be paid the same as the NBA?
She said no.
She said no, but did you hear the second part? She said we should be paid more than Live Golf because nobody watches them.
Right.
I thought that was funny. Brian Mull watches them, but
right, but they need to be paid more than what they've been paid, and Clark will do that because more people will watch and consume the product that she's a part of. None of the people I mentioned, and I left out 100 names, but none of them ever brought a meaningful dime into the fray. I mean, they play tonight their first home game. What do you think those tickets are going for in the secondary market? I'm sure something pretty decent.
They've probably triple digits, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
I can look it up.
Do. Look it up real quick before we go to break, because I'd like to just Google.
Indiana Fever is the name of the team, right? I don't know.
Indiana Fever, yes. This is Pilk's fingers are on fire having to type this in, I'm sure, since he hates women's sports so much.
I like women's tennis.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. But think about that for a minute, though, Pilk. I guarantee you these tickets, I don't know what the face for them is, but I guarantee you they're not going anywhere near face. I don't know. Maybe they are. I don't know.
Low. It's
oh, is it low?
It's you can count it on two hands. $6 went on. I went
Really?
to Ticketmaster and you can buy them for $6.
Is that the very top?
Yeah.
Is okay? All right. I'm in a decent seat. I mean, I would never sit in the up top of any arena. Come on. Nor would you, Pilkington.
Oh, I've done it many a times. I've just balling on a budget, baby. I've done it a lot.
You gotta.
Let's see what they're going for in the lower bowl here.
Yeah, why don't you do that instead of a good producer makes the host look good, which I know is a heavy. That's a big lift for you.
So to sit in the lower bowl, like right at midcourt, is $177.
All right, you were right.
Yeah.
I told you it was not cheap, but you can sit in the nosebleed for $6 anywhere. I have a bad voice, and you're making me yell.
Not at the TD Garden. You can't sit that low for $6 or that high for $6. Not when my Celtics are playing, baby. But they're playing in the Eastern Conference Finals.
You're back on that bandwagon, I see. Okay.
Always been on that bandwagon.
You've been a little quiet during the postseason. A little quiet. But now, it's got to be the Knicks and the Celtics, right? That's the best. That's what the NBA wants.
Yeah,
That's what the
Knicks,
NBA needs,
Celtics,
quite frankly.
Rangers,
Yeah.
Bruins. Oh, wait, no, the Bruins won't make it. But the Rangers might lose to York because they've won 2 in a row. Carolina Hurricanes.
Tonight, Pilk will preview all that coming up. All right, Parker Byrd joining us when we come back on the PJ Show.
Let's go. Woo! Woo! Yeah! Football time! Set the tone. Kyle, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. Yeah, good job. Woo! Yeah!
Grab a Pepsi Wild Cherry and get wild.
So one of the most prophetic utterances to ever occur on this set was just from Parker Byrd. He said, I didn't expect this to be Good Morning America. It's not. It's not. What's up?
What's up,
How
man?
are you?
I'm doing great.
It's awesome to have Parker Byrd here. We all know Parker's story, and it's nice. I don't think we've ever acquainted in person. I know we've talked a few handful of times over the last couple of years. So.
That's right, yeah.
And
glad to finally be here.
It's awesome to have you here, and there's a million things to talk about. I wanted to have you in on for the Good Morning America thing. That was pretty. The GMA3 is what they call it. It's kind of an extra hour in the early afternoon on the East Coast for Good Morning America, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was an awesome experience. I mean, they're top class people. Man,
That was national. You were
it was,
and you don't like public speaking, or you didn't?
I didn't at first. I mean, I've gotten really used to it.
Right.
That's kind of what I want to do in life now, just go and share my story. So it's something that I've definitely is a learned habit, but I think I've gotten a lot better than what I was. I took a public speaking class in high school, and I just remember getting up there, and I had my 2 cousins, one's my age and one's a couple years older than me. They were in that class as well, and I tell people if I can speak in front of them, I can speak in front of anybody, because those cats, if you said one thing wrong, they were sitting there busting your tail for it, and you're sitting there trying not to laugh while it's the funniest thing ever. So
you got to go to a Yankees game.
That's right.
And you went to Hamilton?
Hamilton, that's right.
How was that?
It was awesome. I think that was like my 5th time watching Hamilton in person.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
So,
wait a second. Wow. Whoa. All
yeah,
right.
so big Hamilton fan. I don't think a lot of people know that, but I know like every lyric.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think I went the first time was in Chicago, if I'm not mistaken.
It was on tour?
Yeah, they were on tour, and then this is kind of when Hamilton was the big deal. And then I went to New York City to watch it, or San Francisco actually.
Okay.
So they were on tour, and then I love it. I mean, it's not the same on Disney Plus as it is in real life, but it's still good. But then the Yankees game was phenomenal. I mean, seeing Soto at that stadium, I think it was Rizzo, Judge, and Soto all went yard in the game I went to watch. But the Yankees fans love Juan Soto, man. And Judge and every other player. But the way they were just the roll call that they do before the game was cool to watch. But then Soto hit the home run. I don't think the stadium stopped saying his name for 10 minutes after.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool to see.
As a long-suffering, except for 16, Chicago Cubs fan, the Rizzo thing still hurts.
Yeah, I just went to a Cubs game as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, we
Is there anywhere this guy hadn't been, Bill? This is amazing.
Yeah,
awesome.
I got back from Chicago.
Okay.
So my process is up there.
I was going to talk to you about that.
Yeah. So I got another grant from the Challenge Athletes Foundation to get another prosthetic, and they sent me to David Rotter in Chicago. That's kind of their guy, and it's kind of turned into my guy as well. And I have a local prosthesis chain, Coltrane. He's amazing as well. But with this leg, it's just more specific for baseball. So I had one that was very specific for baseball, but then this one's even more advanced. It's a lot more springier. Faster with it. So I got that this past week. Was there from Monday to Friday.
Wow.
Flew into New Orleans Friday night, late Friday night, missed the game
Okay.
Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday I was there.
You were with the team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Are you fitted with that now, or
I am. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a brand new one. So I had the one that I was using, and now I have another one that's a lot more advanced. It's more springier. Allows me to be faster. That first step's very key at third.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm glad to have that, and I wanted to go get it before summer ball because I'm playing in New Bern this summer,
Yep.
and just trying to get used to it before I go there. So this was really the only week that I could really go with their schedule, and I missed the Duke game sadly, but I mean,
Right.
we didn't
Yeah.
didn't miss too much,
Right.
but I mean, it always sucks missing a game. Watching it on ESPN Plus is not the same at all.
Yeah.
So-
Parker Byrd is with us here. What is the lifespan on one of those prospects?
Probably 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So the socket part, the part I put my leg in, that is ever changing. My leg's shrinking to the day. I mean, it's just kind of how the fitting process goes. So that can get adjusted every month or so.
Okay.
So that's what Shane Coltrane's great at doing, my local one here. But the actual like blade itself, I mean, those can last probably 2 to 3 years, probably longer than that. But
There's always
depends
advances, though. In
yeah, I
technology,
mean that's exactly. So
Yeah.
like with me, my first one, I wasn't strong enough yet for a bigger blade, so they put me in a blade that was, looking back, it wasn't very big, but it was still a lot better than a walking leg. So I was in that until this past week, and then I went and got a bigger blade, and I was actually, so he let me try on 3 prosthetics with spring wise. The first one I thought was great. Wednesday, went home with that, worked out, went to hit, everything was great, and then Thursday we came in, and he's like, "Hey, I have another one that if you want to try, I'm making it now." So we waited, and that one was like the springiest thing I've ever
Even
felt.
better.
Yeah, it was great. But playing baseball with that big of a
I
spring,
gotcha.
I was like, I don't know if my reaction time is gonna be the same. So he's like, I have one in between the first one you tried on and that one. I was like, yeah, let me try that. So that one was actually perfect, like kind of like Goldilocks, a little too cold, a little too hot.
Third time's the charm. Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah, so it's good.
It's awesome to have Parker Byrd with us here. The story is amazing. I mean, it's a tough thing you're going through, and we've talked about it before. But when you're dealing with all of that, how do you stay so positive? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure there were times you weren't. But I
Right.
mean, how did your outlook stay? I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to get back on the baseball
Yeah,
field?
just that 1% better mindset. The what's next. I mean, with that being, I was in the hospital at first. When's my next surgery? How do I get out of here? And then once I got out of the hospital, I was in a wheelchair. And then how do I get out of this wheelchair? And then I was still having surgeries at the time. And then I advanced to a walker, and then I think crutches. And then once I got my first prosthetic in December 2022, I was still non-weight bearing really on it. So then I went to a cane like an old man. So
Did you bedazzle it or anything? Did
nah,
you
it was
decor it
just
up?
straight
Okay.
blacked out.
okay.
So yeah, but just that, what's next, and then how can I get better? When's my next PT? What can I do in this day to get better for the future? I mean, I realized that I wasn't going to gain all my ability back in one day.
Right.
So you might as well just stack days on top of days. And I literally filled my whole entire day up with workouts at Young's, to PT by the hospital, swimming at Aquaventure, hitting at the cages at ECU. Like, I mean, or even next level, hitting with Lance at next level was really key to my recovery. So just really that what's next mindset.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is the average day like?
Well, now it's considered baseball at ECU, but I would say the summer would be get up, probably go swim because I just love swimming. I think it's a great cardio,
Yeah.
especially not using the legs, not weight bearing, and it's just really good. And then I'm playing summer ball in New Bern, so we'll probably go hit before the game at ECU, and then do PT, and then just go and play baseball, and then come back and sleep and do it again. So
So it's the New Bern Southpaws
Yeah.
this summer you'll be playing
Yes,
with.
sir.
So how did that come about?
yeah, so I was either there or Greenville, here in Greenville, and I think Greenville's the Coastal Plains League, which is a good league, very competitive. And then South Paul is, I think they're the Old State, the
North State League.
Yeah. And I think that one is still a great league, but it's a little less competitive. And I just need at bats. I think that's the main thing. Is just
it's kind of
to see the
working your way up.
baseball
Like
game.
if you were a pro guy, you got to start at a certain level in the minors and work your way up.
So exactly. So I just wanted to see more at bats. I could have got into the team here in Greenville, but I kind of just wanted to go see the ball again and get on the field. So.
They'd have been wise to work it out with you because they'd have sold some tickets.
Yeah,
then,
for sure.
You know?
I saw their promotion nights. Very unique things. So.
Well, I think New Bern will have a lot of ECU and Parker Byrd just fans. Drawn to it for your story.
Yeah, I think I've seen a lot of people that are from New Bern just in the area, and they seem pretty excited. So I'm excited to go. I'm excited to play. Hopefully, I will be joining the team mid-season, just because I'm not going to go until we win Omaha. So hopefully it's mid-June before I get there. But the coaches and the GM there know that. They texted me the other day. I was asking if it's like a wood bat league or metal bat, and it's a wood bat. And he's like, hopefully you'll be joining us mid-June, because he's a Pirate himself. So
good.
He understands, and thankfully they know my schedule's busy, and they're willing to work with me.
When will you start kind of swinging a wooden bat now that you know?
So I still swing wood every day.
Okay.
So it's part of our routine at ECU.
Gotcha.
So we swing wood all the time, and then if it's machine or BP on the field, we'll swing metal bat. But
Gotcha.
if not, I'm more comfortable with a wood bat, honestly. It's I've always hit better with wood. I don't know how or why, but just growing up, I have. So.
It's meant to be. That's why.
That's right.
It's meant to be done professionally. So let's go back to February. You get your first at bat. How nervous are you?
I wouldn't say I was very nervous at all.
Okay.
Just because I prepared a year and a half for that moment. And then once I got there, it's kind of like, hey, let's go. And then obviously just walking up to the plate, I would say I definitely got chill bumps, but who wouldn't in that moment? But I wouldn't say nervous is a word, just really excited to be there and that opportunity. And then first pitch, he spun a curveball, and I wasn't expecting that at all, but it was a strike. And then I think he spun the curveball because he couldn't really throw a fastball for a strike at the moment. And then there's 4 straight balls. I don't think any of them were very hittable at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was going up there to swing the bat. So
I got to think. I mean, you're trained and you work at, and you've done it your whole life to, you just concentrate on the task at hand. But there's so much emotion going on around you. How difficult was it to lock in, or was it?
I mean, I would say I went up there very, very locked in, and then Jimmy, the home plate umpire, we know him actually from a family friend. So I know him before I even came to ECU, and he called time himself, because I think he told me later on that he was emotional himself, though he had to call time for his sake. So then I just kind of took a moment to take it all in, and then once it was time to lock back in, it was pretty easy, just because I was so determined to get a hit and get on base. So
you got on base, and then you had another at bat later in the year.
Yeah. I've had 3 at bats this year. So
all right.
Yeah, I struck out in one of them. It was pretty good.
Unfortunately, I remember that one.
Yeah. It was against Columbia. The guy was like throwing like 96 from the left side, which is not an excuse. It was just pretty impressive that.
You haven't been up there in a year and a half. I mean, come on.
Exactly. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was impressive that he was in the game with I think we were up like 11, 12 runs, and he was throwing 96 from the left side. I think I struck out, and I like looked at the scoreboard to see how fast it was, because it looked like it was moving pretty fast, and it said 96. I was like, dang. I was like, golly, bro. And then like it was weird, because I think like Sunday it was a closer game, and he came in a close game. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing. Like, he's throwing in like a blowout game and a close game. I was like, it's weird. But and then I got another one where I grounded out to second baseman against Elon.
Yep.
So each time I'm seeing the ball better. I just think it's just getting in the box.
Well, it's like you said, this summer you got to get some ABs.
I think that's the main thing, just seeing it consistently, because we have pitcher hitter during the week, but I mean, it's so hard to do that, because like it's 2 or 3 at bats a week, which I mean, this is how it is. I mean, we don't have enough guys to throw every day.
Right,
And
right.
then so it's just how it is. But I mean, this summer I just used it to get better, and I'm just excited.
Is there? We talked with Christy Overton Johnson, and we'll have that later in the week, where she talked about a couple of events that you've taken part in.
Mm-hmm.
You came out of surgery to go see Darryl Strawberry.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I guess she's got her and Coach Godwin, Coach G have. See, I've known Cliff since we were 15, so I think the Coach G is hilarious.
Yeah.
But they're planning something for September.
Yeah.
Big tent revival. Will you?
Yeah.
What are some things you have planned? Kind of between now, other than baseball, but between now and say the fall, that kind of, because you're out all the time speaking at places.
Yeah. So I finally got my website up.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I think that's how I had to contact.
Yeah.
Parker's big now. You have to go through the website to get a hold of Parker.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it was really important to set that up so we can have a set schedule and it's just easier for people to plan and stuff. But
were you organized before? You were an organized person?
Yeah, I've always been really organized, but I think
I don't know how you do it.
A bigger workload, I think just having a website just keeps you more organized. So I have that now. I think July 1st, I'm talking to the Washington Capitals. Their rookie or their draftees.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be really cool. And then I think there'll be more events that pop up, but I think
Christy, it's everything. You go to like middle schools.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's
It's anywhere I can impact. I mean, I know kids. I have middle school is a great age because they actually listen. Sometimes high schoolers can be a little bit more difficult just because they think they're too cool sometimes, which I understand. I was in their shoes before, so and then. If it's really early elementary, I mean, they're just there.
Right.
I mean, it just is what it is. It's nothing against them at all. But
I imagine, though, if you spoke to, like, the high school baseball team or a softball team, they'd be a little more.
Yeah, exactly. It's just more engaged. And if they have more interest, but just the general. But then sometimes it's great. I mean, just depends on the people you talk to. But I just like going out and sharing my story and just impacting people.
Parker Byrd with us. Do you know any of the guys you'll be playing with? I'm sure you do, but are there any like really good friends or Pirate teammates that are
there's actually not. No.
Okay. So it's a whole new group of guys.
A whole new group of guys. I'm excited to meet new people.
Isn't that the cool part about it, though?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is my first time playing summer ball, obviously, and the guys that I've just taught on the team, on ECU's team, that they go out and play summer ball, they love it just because they can go out and meet new people and
new experiences.
Have great connections. So I'm excited.
What would be, from all of this, and it's still ongoing. It's not like we've reached a stopping point or what have you. But I mean, just if there's one message anybody could take from your, the whole 2 years, what would you want to impart on, somebody?
That God has a plan for each and every one of us. Just because. It might not be your plan. I think my plan wasn't to be playing with a prosthetic leg. It was to be the shortstop for ECU my freshman year. But his plan was bigger, and he gave me a platform now just to share my testimony. And I think that's just the biggest thing now is just go and share his light. That your life's not over. That if you just continue to work hard each and every day, that your goal is still at hand. And I just worked hard each day, and I'm back to where I want to be. So
that's awesome. It's a heck of a story. You've done great. Again, this isn't GMA. I'm sorry. There's no green room. Dude, we got you water though.
I'm blessed to be here.
Parker Byrd with us. Great to talk to you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Continued success. Good luck this summer. I'm going to get up there and watch you guys play a game when after mid-June.
That's right.
Or in July.
After Omaha.
After Omaha, exactly. The great Parker Byrd with us here. Stay tuned. We'll have more of the PJ Show. Don't you go away.
When a place is as special as this, you don't want to change a thing. You simply want to enjoy it, just as it is. That was our inspiration behind Bow Coast West, our newest community in Beaufort, North Carolina. Embrace all that we love about this very special place, and make it easy for families to enjoy all that this coastal lifestyle has to offer. Be inspired. Bow Coast West.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. Tomorrow, maybe. We'll see. Pirates, Rice Owls coming up with Scooter and Coach O.